Sheikh, the live stream has started.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala khayri khalqillahi ajma'een. Sayyidina wa nabiyyina wa maulana Muhammadin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome once again to another UCT MSA Arabic class, and today inshallah we will start from where we left off last week. But like always, before that, we will do a recap, inshallah, of what we done last week. Last week, we started a new concept, and that was al-idafa, the possession. And we said in the Arabic language, we do not say, if you want to say, for example, the teacher's book, in Arabic, we say it as the book of the teacher. So in Arabic, you'll find that we have a mudaf and mudafun ilayhi. The thing being possessed, that comes first, the book of the teacher, which is the mudafun ilayhi, which is, let me just put it down here. Okay, let's change the color. So we have the mudaf, as we mentioned, and the mudafun ilayhi. So the mudaf is the possessed thing. So the thing that is possessed, the possessed thing. And the mudafun ilayhi is the thing that is possessing the possessed thing. And we see there's a few rules that goes with this. So the mudaf will not have a al, so no al and no tanween. But the mudafun ilayhi will be majroor. It will have either a kasra or two kasras, a tanween. But the mudaf will not have a tanween. And the example we gave there was Baytul Mudarrisi. Baytul Mudarrisi. We see that the mudaf, the first word, the thing being possessed is the house. The house is being possessed. Bahu, Bawat, the possessor, which is Al-Mudarrisi, the teacher. And therefore, you see the thing being possessed do not have al. There's no al in front. And it only has one case ending. And we're seeing the possessor, the thing possessing the thing before it, which is the bayt, has a kasra. It is majroor. And we spoke about majroor before. So that is the mudaf and mudafun ilayhi. Remember, the mudaf, no al, only one case ending, and the mudafun ilayhi will be majroor. It will have a kasra or two kasras. Okay. Then we moved on and we spoke about the harfun nida. We spoke about the vocative particle. And we said the vocative particle in Arabic is ya, which means oh. And it comes before a name, by calling someone. Oh Muhammad, oh Fatima, oh Yasir. And we said once you use ya, then the word or the name that comes after it will only have one case ending. So it's ya, Yasi, Ru, ya, Muhammad, do, ya, Fatima, tu. And therefore, whenever we use ya, always remember that it only gets one case ending. Okay. Then we moved on and we spoke about the dharful makan. And we see the dharful makan, the meaning of that is a word that denotes or indicates place. Denotes or indicates place. And we said the example given here, or one of the first words we know that is a dharful makan, is tahta, means under. And we said that this dharful makan, or in general dharful makan, they are type of special idafa whereby you will not find always all between them. if you look at the other mudaf and mudaf ilayhi constructions, it is the house of the teacher. These are of. But these types, sometimes they will be of, sometimes they won't be of, and it is like a special idafa. And this is a word that indicates or denotes a place, like tahta. And you get others as well. For example, this is under and on top. For example, fawqa. So these things, these words denote a place, and you'll find that it is mudaf. And the word that comes after it will be mudafun ilay. So remember, the mudafun ilay gets a kasra. One kasra, if it has al, if it's not al, it gets two kasras, the tanween. We've done this before. We spoke about that. And therefore, تحت المكتب. Here, تحت المكتب will translate as it is under the maktab, the desk. Or if you want to put the of there, you can say it is underneath of the desk. But usually you will not find of, and sometimes you'll find of. So it is one of the special types of idafas. Okay. Now we move on to today's lesson, inshallah. Today we will focus a lot on reading. And inshallah, once we're done with this lesson, we should go into the groups and try to just read this to someone to identify the mudaf ilayhi constructions. So it says here, this is exercise 3, iqra, read, waktub, and write. Read and write. So you have to write this over afterwards. Ma'a, which means with. I'm giving a word by word translation. Dabt, vowelizing. Awakhir, ends. Al-kalimat, words. So basically it means read and write with vowelizing the end of the words. Awakhir al-kalimat. Okay. So Brother Abdullahi, are you there?
Yes, Sheikh.
Okay. MashaAllah. So I would like you to read all the way from Babul Mudarrisi, Babul Madrasati, all the way to Ala Maktabil Mudiri. And those who are listening, just remember the rules. Again, I'll write down the rules here. That we have the mudaf and the mudafun ilayhi. And we see the mudaf will not have al, and we see the mudaf will not have a tanween. Just remember that. So non tanween. And the mudafun ilayhi will be majroor. Right over there. Meaning it will either have a kasra or two kasras. Okay. So try to read it by yourself before Brother Abdullahi will read it, inshallah. So Brother Abdullahi, you can start. Repeat it twice, inshallah, each mudaf ilayhi construction. This is one construction. This is like one thing. Remember, this is the mudaf here. The first one is the mudaf, and this is the mudafun ilayhi. This is the thing being possessed, and this is the possessor of the thing. So Brother Abdullahi, inshallah, if you can read all the way down until ala al-maktabil mudiri. تفضل.
باب المدرسة باب المدرسة حمار الرجل حمار الرجل بيت حامد بيت حامد سيارة المدير سيارة المدير منديل عمار منديل عمار اسم الطالب اسم الطالب بيت الله بيت الله في كتاب الله في كتاب الله من بيت المدرس من بيت المدرس على مكتب المدير على مكتب المدير.
Jazakallah, Brother Abdullah. So you can see, Alhamdulillah, very simple to read, just knowing that the first word will be the mudaf. It will only have one case ending, like himar, himarurrajuli. So it only gets one case ending, as you can see all of them. And we should note as well, if you look at fi kitabillahi, Brother Abdullah, he said fi kitabillahi. Why? Because the fi is operating on the kitab. And we said that the fi is a harfu jar, and a harfu jar makes the word that comes after it majroor. And we said a sign of something being majroor is the kasra, and therefore kitab gets the kasra. And Allah is also majroor, and the sign of something being majroor is a kasra. Why is it majroor? Because it is the mudafun ilayhi. The mudafun ilayhi is always majroor. So the mudaf here is majroor because of fi, and the mudafun ilayhi is majroor because it is the mudafun ilayhi. Okay, and likewise you can see here in min again is the harfu jar, the particle of jar. It makes the word come after the kasra, makes the majroor, and this word is the mudaf, and the mudaf will have mudafun ilayhi, and the mudafun ilayhi gets the kasra. Why? Because it is a mudafun ilayhi. It is mudafun ilayhi and it's majroor with a kasra. Ala maktabil mudiri, the same. So always keep that in mind. We are now applying all the concepts that we learned before in our sentences. Alhamdulillah. We can continue now with the next exercise, which is Iqra. All of these words so far that we've done, we have translated it before. So from Babul Mudarrisi all the way until Ala Maktabil Mudiri, there are no new words at all. All of these words we have done before. If there are new words, inshallah, I would translate them, but I don't want to translate all of the words all the time because it takes up much time and it doesn't give your brain time to think as well. So it's good to always revise it and think about it. If you forgot the word, try to search it up, and that way it will stuck and it will stick with you longer, inshallah. So Brother Abdullah will start with the next exercise, which is Iqra, which means read. Okay, read. It's a command word, read. Okay. So just things to note here. We are applying more concepts as you're going along, alhamdulillah. Remember, we done a sentence, and we see the sentence is made up of a mubtada and a khabar. And just to show you in this one here, Al-Qur'anul Kitabullahi. Remember that we said that the word, the beginning of the sentence is the mubtada. So here, this is the mubtada. And Kitabullahi is the khabar. But this khabar is made up of a mudaf ilayhi construction. So the khabar is made up of a mudaf and a mudafun ilayhi. So this is the mubtada, which is Quran. And why you want to know the mubtada? Because we know the mubtada, the sign of the mubtada, it is that of it being marfu'. It will have a dhamma. And therefore we notice a dhamma. And we know the khabar, the sign of the khabar is that it gets a dhamma. So the first word, the mudaf, it's part of the khabar, and therefore it gets a dhamma because it's the khabar. Khaya for khabar, eh? Khabar. And the meme here is for mubtada. Mubtada'un khabarun. So the mudaf here gets a dhamma. Why? Because it's the beginning of the khabar. The Quran here is the mubtada and therefore gets a dhamma. Always remember that. So the sentence before this, Aina, that is the khabar. But we've done this before. We said it's a question and therefore we move it to the front. And therefore Baytul Mudarrisi, why? It is the mubtada here and therefore mubtadas get, remember we've done this, gets a dhamma. And Baytul Mudarrisi. And even though it is the mubtada, it is made out of this sentence here, which is the mudaf ilayhi construction. And therefore, huwa ba'idun. So huwa is the mubtada and ba'idun is the khabar, and therefore it gets the dhamma. Huwa cannot get a dhamma, it is a pronoun. It doesn't change, it says huwa, and therefore we can't see it being in the state of marfu'. But ba'idun you can see as it gets a case ending. So this is basically the concepts you have to apply. Remember the mubtada. And the reason why I want to know the mubtada and the khabar, because we are looking for the is. So in the first sentence here, aina, we know this is the khabar, and therefore between the khabar and the mubtada, because the mubtada comes afterwards, you know it's is. So where is Baytul Mudarrisi, the house of the teacher? Huwa, he, and you know it's is ba'idun far. So he refers to Baytu and it can mean it. So huwa can mean it or he, so it means it here. So aina Baytul Mudarrisi, where is the house of the teacher? Huwa, it is far. And therefore, we applied all of those concepts that we learned so far, the mudaf ilayhi construction, the mubtada and the khabar, and therefore we can translate this with its proper translation by knowing where the e should be and knowing where the of should be. Because if we know the mubtada, the mudaf ilayhi, we know the of will be in the middle. So the mudaf ilayhi construction, the of is in the middle. So Kitabullahi, the book of Allah. Baytul Mudarrisi, the house of the teacher. So the mubtada and khabar shows us where is the is, and the mudaf ilayhi construction will show us where is the of. And just keep that in mind as Brother Abdullahi reads this sentence, inshallah. So Brother Abdullahi, you can start, inshallah. We can go all the way down. It is quite a few sentences that we're going through, inshallah. It is until 20, inshallah. If there's anything that I have to translate, which is new, I'll ask Brother Abdullahi to pause, and then I'll give the translation. But if there are words, if the words had already been translated before, then I will just say, Brother Abdullahi, continue, inshallah. So Brother Abdullahi, and just remember before Brother Abdullahi attempts, reading this line, to read it at home already, or wherever you are, and to see if your way of reciting it is the same like Brother Abdullahi, inshallah. So Brother Abdullahi, you can begin. فليتفضل إن شاء الله.
And should I repeat it twice?
Repeat it twice, inshallah, so those that listening can repeat themselves and repeat it again after that, inshallah.
أين بيت المدرس؟ هو بعيد. أين بيت المدرس؟ هو بعيد. القرآن كتاب الله. القرآن كتاب الله. الكعبة بيت الله. الكعبة بيت الله. محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم رسول الله. محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم رسول الله. خرج المدرس من غرفة المدير. خرج المدرس من غرفة المدير. هذا بيت حامد وذلك بيت خالد. هذا بيت حامد وذلك بيت خالد. ابن عمار. ابن عمار طالب وابن ياسر تاجر. ابن عمار طالب وابن ياسر تاجر.
Brother Abdullah, you can just pause there, inshallah. I just want to explain one concept to them that I did not explain before. So if you had heard Brother Abdullah, when he spoke and he recited number 7 and he said Ibnu, and then when he said this, Ibnu Ammarin Talibun, and then he went on by saying Wabanu. So we need not here, because this word ibn is here as well, ibn. But he said wabanu. And this is a concept that we will be doing now, inshallah, which is hamzatul wasl. This is known as hamzatul wasl. So what is this hamzatul wasl? So hamzatul wasl is pronounced. So this is a, let's write it down here. Is pronounced in the beginning of the speech and not in the middle of the speech. Okay, so we see here, once you start off the beginning of the speech with a word, so we start off with the word, then you will say ibn. You'll give it a kasra. But in the middle of the speech, here we're continuing. This is one speech. So therefore, we said wa, and therefore, we do not recite it while we are saying it in the middle of the speech. So it goes wabanu. It's as if it's not there and we just recite the letter that comes after it. It's a sukoon with the ba on it. So it's wabanu ya sirin tajirun. So ibnu ammarin talibun wabanu yasirin tajirun. This is known as hamzatul wasl. There will be more examples coming up, inshallah. But just remember, you recite it only in the beginning of a sentence, the beginning of speech, basically. When you start off with that letter, then you say it. If you do not start off with the letter, you will not say it. Here, we don't start off that letter because we're continuing. We say ibn ammarin talibun, and we're starting with wa. We're not starting with ibn, we're starting with wa. And then, of course, you're starting with wa, we will now drop that letter as if it's not there anymore. So it's wabanu yasirin tajirun. So that I wanted to mention. Just another concept I would like to implement as well, which we've done before, and Brother Abdullah has recited. In this example here, or this sentence, we say kharaja al-mudarrisu. Al-mudarrisu has a dhamma. Why? Because it is the fa'il. Add another concept that we learned. The fa'ilun was always marfu', and the sign of something being marfu' is a dhamma. This is the fi'l we spoke about, the fi'l, the verb. So kharaja al-mudarrisu. And then we know min, after min it's majroor, and therefore it gets a kasra. And we know because ghurfat al-mudiri is mudaf ilayh construction, it will only get one case ending, and al-mudiri will get a kasra as well because it's the mudafun ilayh. So I just wanted to mention that. And here, number 4, Muhammadun. This is like in brackets. We're not going to worry about this at this moment of time. Muhammadun sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then this is the mubtada. And this is the khabar here. This is like in brackets. We're not going to worry about that. So Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And then we have Rasulullah, the khabar of Rasulullah. And this is just in brackets there. So we're not going to worry about that. Once we more advanced, inshallah, we'll come to that, inshallah. Brother Abdullahi, you can continue from Raqam 8, inshallah.
بيت المدرس بعيد وبيت التاجر قريب. بيت المدرس بعيد وبيت التاجر قريب. هذا مفتاح السيارة. أين مفتاح البيت؟ هذا مفتاح السيارة. أين مفتاح البيت؟ من أنت يا ولد؟ أنا ابن عباس. من أنت يا ولد أنا ابن عباس وابن من هو ابن خالد وابن من هو ابن خالد أين مسجد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هو في المدينة المنورة أين مسجد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هو في المدينة المنورة بنت حامد في المدرسة وبنت محمد في الجامعة بنت حامد في المدرسة وبنت محمد في الجامعة اسم المدرس سعيد واسم المهندس خالد اسم المدرس سعيد واسم المهندس خالد عم الطالب غني عم الطالب غني باب المسجد مفتوح وباب المدرسة مغلق باب المسجد مفتوح وباب المدرسة مغلق خال حميد فقير خال حميد فقير خالو it's خالو okay خال حميد فقير خال حميد فقير سيارة عباس في الشارع سيارة عباس في الشارع ابن من أنت أنا ابن المدرس ابن من أنت أنا ابن المدرس أين الكلب هو تحت السيارة أين الكلب هو تحت السيارة
Jazakallah, brother Abdullah, mashallah. I'll just go over some of them, inshallah, just to get some of the translations very quickly, those words that we have not done before. So just we're looking at those words. For example, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We will be doing this again, inshallah. But salla, and then we have Allah. This is a verb, the fi'al, and Allah is the fa'il, and therefore we can say dhamma. Wasallama is well the fi'al, but we're not going to worry about that. Madinatul Munawwara, that is in Saudi Arabia, that is Medina, which is the city, Al-Munawwara, the light or the illuminated city. And then there are certain words that I'm not sure if we've done this word before. So means uncle, but it is the paternal uncle. It is your father's brother. Khal, so you have ammun and khalun. So ammu talibi, the uncle, which is the paternal uncle of a student, is rich. So is the paternal uncle. Khalun is the maternal uncle. It's the brother of your mother. So is the paternal and khal is the maternal. So here we have the paternal uncle, and here we have the maternal uncle. So in Arabic, we have a name for the maternal uncle and we have a name for the paternal uncle. باب المسجد مفتوح. I'm not sure if you know this, but مفتوح means open, and وباب المدرسة مغلق means closed or locked. You can say closed, even locked. You know, when you say locked. Okay. Closed and locked. Okay. And here we can see again the rules of the Hamzatul Wasl. Ibnu man anta. And again, we know that the ibnu here, this ibn here is the mudaf, and the man is the mudafun ilayhi, but we can't see the kasra on the mudafun ilayhi. Why? Because it is mabni, it's bold like this. Man is bold like that, and we know between them the mudaf ilayhi is of, so this translates as the son of who, because man is who, we know the question, man is who, so the son of who, and man anta, the son of you, of who are you, remember, of you. So this anta means you, and between there we're not putting is because we're using the word are and is depending on the sentence structure. So ibnu man anta will translate as the son of who are you. And here we can see it again, because you're starting with the word ana, which means I, ana, we will drop that Hamzatul Wasl. Of course, there's a sukun there, so to be anabanu. Why? Because this is Hamzatul Wasl. We only say the Hamzatul Wasl when you start speech with it. But if you start with some other word, then we do not mention the Hamzatul Wasl. So to be anabanu, anabanul mudarrisi. So we start here by saying ibnu man anta. So we're starting with it, therefore we put the kasra. Ibnu man anta anabanul mudarrisi, and the son of the teacher. And this is aynal kalbu, where is the dog? Huwa tahta. Again, we see tahta. It is a word. It's a zarf makan, a word that denotes a place. And this is tahta, and we see the tahta is mudaf, and the word that comes after is mudafun ilayhi. And therefore, it means it is under the car. And therefore, it gets a kasra. Why? Because the mudafun ilayhi gets a kasra. It's major rule. And inshallah, we will stop there. So I want to give you some time just to read this. If you can go into breakout rules, this is very important, just to try to identify the mudaf and mudafun ilayhi construction, and knowing the mubtada and khabar, and knowing the fa'il as well. Because remember, if there's a fa'il kharaja, the word comes after, it will be the, if there's a fi'al kharaja, this example, the word that comes after will be the fa'il, and it will have a dhamma because it's marfu'. And just to try to read this without any vowels on, to see if you can identify the different concepts that we have done before. So by applying all the concepts we've done before in the sentences, and this is very important for us just to try to identify them and try to apply them as we are reading, and this will make it much better for us, inshallah, as we go along, because you first have to practice on this, because every new lesson comes with new concepts, and the new concepts are just adding on, and you will have sentences with more concepts thereafter. So I don't want to go too fast, but I would like you to go into breakup rules, inshallah, and just read this to someone. Just read it without any vowels on it. Just read it to someone. And if you struggle, put the vowels on, but just to try to identify them, inshallah, bi'idhnillah. Read it to each other and to see if you have mistakes. It is quite long, so maybe if you are breaking up into groups, each one can do 5, and just to see if you can identify them, inshallah. With that, I'll hand it over to Brother Abdullahi. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Shukran, Sheikh Khalid, for this wonderful class. I'll now open the breakout rooms, and feel free to join them and interact with the tutors.